Today we will talk about Velo and SHX and how it ties back into XLM. And this is because I am at the point where I think Velo is one of the chosen ones and will play an integral part in our new financial system because of the ties into Stellar. In the Telegram group, they posted a picture of the Lightnet and Binance team speaking in person. And I don't think that is just about listing Velo on an exchange, because there are ties between each of those entities as is, and I don't think an in-person conversation would be required to. I think it's because there are much more connections in between a listing on Binance and the launch of Orbit. An Orbit launch and a Binance listing would result in a ton of new volume, not just because of increased attention, but because the real world utility of Orbit that all revolves around Velo. SHX still seems to be playing it safe and waiting on more US regulations in order to unveil the next part of what SHX and Stronghold Net are actually capable of. And in the meantime, Velo looks as if it is positioned to be able to act as an example of what happens when crypto meets real world application and utility. SHX equals XLM and XRP, and Velo equals the SHX of Asia. All of this is happening as large accounts are catching on to Velo. I think the largest one that I'm in communication with is now Ncash Official. Velo is already a bank, and I have talked about how they are calling it decentralized centralized finance. Lightnet acts as the next generation SWIFT and can connect state-of-the-art digital technology with on-the-ground cash-out venues. Here we have an article that reports that the PBOC has been in contact with banks of Thailand around digital payments. Sounds like the Velo boss is already working on this to prepare. And if we go back here, the star has been commented upon before, and I think it was crypto banker SHX that said that it might end up as a reference to China. And here we are talking about using the digital yuan to finance and facilitate trade in Southeast Asia, and that is from ChinaDaily.com. Orbit. How Thailand's new crypto giveaways will drive up mass adoption for digital assets. And I talk about that because there is talk about outlawing most exchanges in Thailand. If there was only an app and a cross-chain DEX on it that is licensed and approved, Thailand will block unlicensed crypto exchanges in order to quote unquote solve online crimes. Well, it seems as if Orbit is positioned to be involved in a airdrop connected to the government in order to act as a type of a UBI and to transition even more into a blockchain financial infrastructure. And I won't expand too much more on that right now, just because it has a ton of information in and of itself. However, Binance may have found a way to remain licensed in the Thai market because of Orbit. Orbit is a payment app. Is it out of the realm of possibilities that an integrated Binance would allow for QR payments globally with any listed crypto with the Velo protocol? That wouldn't just connect rails. Velo would be the rails. The Thai government-backed crypto app will be Velo's Orbit. Yes, which requires a certain amount of Velo to utilize it. Supply shock incoming. The airdrop itself wouldn't be in Velo. It will be more than likely the Thailand CBDC into orbit. However, a small amount of Velo is required to utilize orbit. An orbit wallet is coming soon. Judging by its multi-language support, it is ready for use in multiple countries, which is a huge catalyst and lines up with the possible Binance listing right after. Just imagine a world where you are a Binance user and soon everything you trade relays back to XLM. They are the world's largest exchange. Look at this as a part of the settlement that was agreed upon between the SEC and Binance, where everything has to now become SEC compliant. And that was in response to his suspicion that the whole world of Binance is being integrated into the XLM chain through Velo, who are creating a multi-chain DEX. In a screenshot, they say the contract both XLM and BNB versions of Velo. And all of this comes after that they have also announced that they have their new CEO as well, which I haven't been concerned about that because a CEO is pretty much a politically and publicly facing figurehead in an organization like this. In response to crypto banker SHX talking about how Binance and Orbit announcements would come out last week, it doesn't really depend on timing because the Velo team put out a meeting with Binance, and that will only be public after Binance announces it, which is how these kinds of things work just because of NDAs. As we begin to get back into the whole Ripple and SHX of Asia thing, if we compare the market caps of Velo to XRP, that puts us right now at a $4.36 Velo. And if we compare all-time highs, that goes up to $17.81, which would require a market cap of $131 billion, which won't happen overnight. But in the mid to long term, I don't really think that that's too crazy anymore. And the posts in here reminded me of the partnership between Ripple and Uphold that seems to be pretty easily compared to what Velo and Binance could possibly be up to, which is that Uphold is using XRP in order to facilitate the transfer of money across borders via Ripple ODL. And because Uphold is connected 28 underlying trading venues. And if we compare how Velo could be integrated in the same way Binance, even in countries such as Thailand that have a lot of regulations against crypto exchanges, it begins to seem as if Velo is truly trying to become the Ripple of Asia in their own way.